The face of every MLB team. So I'm just going to be going over, very simply, the face that comes to mind when we think of every franchise here in 2021. Now, this could change throughout the season. It could change going into next season. But going into 2021, this is the face we associate every team with. We'll start in the AL East. We'll start with the Yankees. Aaron Judge. It's not all that hard of a question. Garrett Cole is probably their MVP. DJ LeMahieu has been their MVP the last 2 seasons. But there's not much doubt that Aaron Judge is still the face, the marquee guy that you think of when you think of New York. It's very close. I don't know if he does or not, but he might have the most followers on Instagram of any MLB player. He's that popular. He's the king of New York in terms of popularity, at least. And obviously, when he stays on the field, stays healthy, he's capable of producing just as well as anybody else. And I'm talking anyone else in baseball, not just anyone else on the Yankees. For the Red Sox, they kind of lack a big-time face now that Betts is gone, now that they are bad. But the face of that team would have to be Xander Bogaerts. There's not much doubt he plays shortstop, a marquee position. You're not going to go with JD Martinez, a guy who's pretty quiet guy. Not that Bogaerts isn't quiet, but you're not going to go with Martinez, a guy who doesn't play the field. You're not going to exactly go with Devers, although he might make his way up that rank. He's just kind of young, hasn't really done anything to make himself the face of the team. And Verdugo is climbing up maybe as their best player, but Xander Bogaerts is a tremendous shortstop. He ranks easily top 10 at one of the better positions in all of baseball. Xander Bogaerts is the face of the Red Sox. For the Baltimore Orioles, there's not a ton of doubt that Trey Mancini is the face of that team. Ryan Mountcastle can develop into that. John Means has been a pretty solid pitcher, but he's not even close to being the face. Yeah, it's basically between Mancini, which it most easily is right now. He could become Mountcastle if he proves himself, but Trey Mancini, I honestly think the coming off a cancer story honestly kind of helped him become more of the face of that team. He kind of got his name recognized more across MLB, which is something that he deserved based on how he played. Before that, he just didn't get a ton of attention because he played in Baltimore, but the man had an over 900 OPS in 2019. He has a lot of potential to be very good in 2021. For the Tampa Bay Rays, I don't know if I'm going to be cheating here, but I have to go with Kevin Cash, their manager. The Rays are the king of just like having a bunch of players, not really any like top-notch players. I mean, they had the 2018 Cy Young and Snell, but he's gone, so it's irrelevant. The Rays are the king of having a bunch of like guys that just put stuff together. And Kevin Cash, I'm not even saying he's a good manager. I mean, he gets a lot of attention as if he is, but I highly disagree. I just remember me and when I was watching the games, I was just watching them, and I disagreed with him the whole series against the Astros. I thought he was taking out his pitchers way too early, and then it finally backfired him in Game 6 of the World Series against the Dodgers. But if I had to go with a player, it's a close question, but I guess I would go with Randy Arozarena just because of what he did on the big stage. For the Toronto Blue Jays, it actually is a hard question between Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and George Springer. I was going to go Springer, but I'm going to go with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Everyone talks about that dude. Bo Bichette is another high consideration to be their best player, but he doesn't get the attention as if he is. He doesn't get as much attention. I could easily see Bo Bichette developing into basically the same guy as Tatis, but for right now, I think Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is actually the face of the Blue Jays. He's so popular. AL Central, face of the team, the Minnesota Twins, I think it is Nelson Cruz. Now, if you guys follow me on Instagram at FlamingBaseball_, you will see I have my power rankings for every single team this year with an explanation, and I have MVPs for each team. Nelson, I actually had Josh Donaldson as the Twins MVP. Unfortunately, went on the injured list like 2 days into the season or something, but Nelson Cruz, I do think, is the face of that team. He's been an absolute monster both of his first 2 years with the Twins, and they don't have like a premier easily face of that team, but I think that Nelson Cruz is like kind of the marquee guy, as he has deserved. For the Cleveland Indians, it comes down to 2 players, and that's Shane Bieber and Jose Ramirez, but I'm going to go with Shane Bieber. He's a defending Cy Young Award winner, a reigning Cy Young Award winner. Defending works as well. But Shane Bieber, I think that there's much reason for him to be the face of that team because I think he's the 3rd best pitcher in all of baseball. For the Chicago White Sox, you could make an argument for one other player, but I'm going with Tim Anderson, the electric shortstop. Tim Anderson is a terrific hitter. I think he's like properly rated. His defense is a little bit weak, but I do think he's the face of that team because he's so outspoken, or at least take action, with all the bat flips and stuff. Kind of the leader that let the kids play thing from like 2019. You could go with Lucas Giolito because he's arguably their best player in my opinion, or you could go with the defending Cy Young, MVP award winner Jose Abreu, but I'm going to go with Anderson. All right, for the Kansas City Royals, definitely a team that lacks a face sort of, but I'm going to go with Whit Merrifield because he's very average and kind of overrated, but he's kind of like the guy you would associate with. But if they're going to do big things like finish 500, which I think they have a chance to do now after seeing how they played opening weekend, I don't think Whit will end up as their best player. I think someone else will break out, maybe Jorge Soler, who is the better player, but face-wise, Whit Merrifield. For the Detroit Tigers, it's 2021, but it's Miguel Cabrera who is the face of the Detroit Tigers. In the AL West, I think Matt Chapman is the face of the Athletics. There's not much doubt about that. He's maybe their best player, I guess he is. I just think his offense is so much weaker than people think. Like, he's a terrific defender, but his offense does not compare at all to Bergman, Arenado, and Rendon. But he's kind of in that conversation with them because of his defense. And talking about the face of the team, he's definitely the face of the team. So as I was filming, my Kyrie Irving shirt just arrived right here. I'm not a bandwagon Nets fan, and I deserve to be very happy and celebratory when we make it to the finals this year. Couldn't be more happy to be a Nets fan right now. I even have a D'Angelo Russell jersey back there. Just kind of represents where I came from as a Nets fan a couple years ago. Pretty bad. I was kind of lucky to not really care all that much when they were really bad, and then I started caring when they were still a little below average, like 2.5 years ago. And it's just been an upward trend as I've been a Nets fan, and now we're finals favorites. But anyway, back to the baseball. Astros, face of the team, that would be Carlos Correa. You can definitely make a case for Bergman. And I'm going to go with Bergman. Alex Bergman is the face of the Astros. I was going to say Correa because he is definitely the most defensive when it comes to the whole cheating scandal, which the cheating scandal is what they're known for. But Alex Bergman, he plays with a lot of big-time chip on his shoulder and is definitely better than Correa. For the Angels, Mike Trout. For the Mariners, while it's Kyle Lewis, because who else would you pick to be the face of that team? I mean, he's the young, kind of rising star that people have been talking about, and I think that he's definitely the face. Like, you're not going to really go with just some boring, solid starting pitcher like Sheffield, Gonzalez, or Paxton. They have 3 lefties that are all fairly average to slightly above average. For the Texas Rangers, definitely Joey Gallo. Big-time power for a bad team. When you have that much power and your team is that bad, you're definitely the face of the team. Into the National League, we got the Atlanta Braves, and this is a little bit of a hard question because they have the reigning MVP in Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman is such a good guy and stuff, and he's popular, but Ronald Acuna Jr. is emerging as, Acuna Jr. is right up there with some of the big-time faces of baseball. I mean, he's similar to Tatis, but Tatis has kind of taken over him after that, long contract and that whole silly Grand Slam thing with Tatis last year on the 3-0 pitch, making Tatis way popular. And, but it's Acuna because of the way he plays, basically. For the Philadelphia Phillies, there's not much doubt that it's Bryce Harper. Who's the best player on the Phillies? That's probably a 3-team race between Harper, Nola, and Wheeler. Because I have Zach Wheeler coming third in Cy Young this year, and it's off to a fire start after his dueling great performance on Saturday against the Atlanta Braves. So then for the Washington Nationals, there's not much doubt that it's Juan Soto. Soto's what? He turned 20 in October of 2018. So he turns 23 this October. This means that this is his 22-year-old season. And it's his 4th season in the bigs. This man is incredible. Juan Soto, man, arguably the best hitter in baseball for sure. For the New York Mets, it's an incredibly hard decision between Jacob deGrom and Francisco Lindor. I think you could go either way for who's the face of that team. But I'm going to go with the best pitcher in baseball, Jacob deGrom, because when you have the best pitcher in all of baseball, it's hard for him not to be the face of your team. And Francisco Lindor is completely, I don't know. I don't want to like disrespect Lindor and stuff. I'm just going crazy this whole season with how overrated he is. But he's not a top 5 hitter on that team. He's not a top 10 hitter in New York. I don't understand this idea that he's like this generational talent. Absolutely terrific defense. I respect that and stuff. But his offensive bat is above average. But he's not like a star hitter. The Miami Marlins completely and entirely lack a face of that team. So I guess I'll give it to Miguel Rojas because he plays shortstop and was great last year. We got to respect that. I wonder how he's going to play this year. He had like an OPS close to 1,000 last year. In the National League Central, for the Chicago Cubs, for all the attention that he gets, I'm going to have to give it to Javier Baez as the face of that team. For the St. Louis Cardinals, it's new acquisition, Nolan Arenado. I don't think you can make too strong of a case for Goldschmidt or Flaherty. For the Milwaukee Brewers, there's not much doubt at all that it's Christian Yelich. That team doesn't really have too much top-tier talent behind Yelich, and Yelich was one of the top players in baseball in 2018 and 19. If you combine 18 and 19, I'm sure that he was probably the best because he was better in 19 than he was in 18, but he won the MVP in 2018. That means he played at MVP level for 2 straight years. For the Cincinnati Reds, I'm going to give it to Nick Castellanos because I was going to give it to Luis Castillo, but seeing opening weekend against the Cardinals, Castillo was bad. Castellanos was, he pimped some home runs. He caused a brawl. He was very outspoken about, I've lost my whole career. I don't want to start 0-2. That's what he said. And I love that, man. Nick Castellanos, you're a baller, and you're becoming the face of the Reds. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, there's absolutely no doubt that it's Ke'Bryan Hayes. There's no top-level talent behind Ke'Bryan, and he's the only exciting thing going on for that team. In the NL West, we'll start it out with the San Francisco Giants. I don't think there's a ton of doubt that it's Mike Yastrzemski. Mike Yastrzemski has been their best player the last 2 seasons, and he's not old and washed, so I think that he's definitely the MVP of the modern-day Giants. I meant the face. For the Colorado Rockies, absolutely no doubt that it's Trevor Story, a top 5 shortstop in all of baseball. I'm not saying that he's 5. I have not made my official list because it's so stinging hard, but I am going to do that right away, whether it's on here or on Instagram at FlamingBaseball_. Make sure you follow a ton of high-quality baseball content that I've been posting and will continue to post probably over there. I do want to make my ranking by positions. For the Diamondbacks, it's definitely Ketel Marte. He was absolutely insane in 2019 over a full season and OPS close to 1,000. D-backs, not a ton of excitement going on over there, but Ketel Marte is definitely an exciting player. He was a starting all-star in 2019. And for the Padres, it's probably it is the face of baseball. Fernando Tatis Jr., he is clearly the face of San Diego. He is the face of that San Diego Rise. For the last team in this video, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the greatest team in all of baseball. I was going to go with Mookie, but then I thought about it. Cody Bellinger is the face of that team. Cody Bellinger is the face of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Mookie Betts is the best player on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Though Bellinger, along with 3 starting pitchers, can definitely be better in any given season, but Mookie Betts is kind of laid back in terms of personality-wise, and it's just his second year. Cody Bellinger, more of a homegrown Dodger, and MVP in 2019 with the Dodgers. It's really the accolades with that team. Cody Bellinger more outspoken about the Astros cheating. Cody Bellinger represents the Dodgers better than anyone else. I hope you guys enjoyed the living daylights out of this video. If you did, smash it with a thumbs up. It's the biggest way to know that you want more videos kind of similar to this. Shall I do best player in every team? Perhaps. But the bottom line is that we're going to make a lot of baseball content as this 2021 season continues to happen. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.